discuss it, with our attorney before we start putting down in writing words like these.
I can both agree with all of you, and I don't know if we should have a special meeting with the attorneys
I think it was.
to discuss this matter more profoundly and in a legal fashion, because I do agree that we have to put a remedy to this situation. And I do agree with Cici that the people that are being hurt the most in the short and in the long run are the students. And I do agree that I don't understand why parents, instead of removing the kids from the school, just engage in this endless battle that goes nowhere. So I don't know, I'm going to check on the procedures to call the special meeting and to see what we can do about putting remedies. Any suggestions on that, Cici, or Nancy? And we'll call the other board members and we'll public that.
Yeah, I would welcome that, and I guess the question that I would have is to what extent this group is able to continue to use the name of the school. Are they authorized to use the name of the school to bash the school?
Well, and those are all things we need to discuss with our attorney in executive session. Because look, what's going to happen is that if we don't solve this, this is going to keep on going on. So we're all volunteers here, and at the end of the day, we want what's best for the school, for the kids, and it's just not enjoyable anymore.
Right.
It's not enjoyable anymore. And we instead of spending time and energy and brain power on how it is we can make this a better place, we're spending energy, brain power, and time on this back and forth, and I'm tired of it. And if I will move that we strike these adjectives from here as part of this, because if this is true, then we need to seek a remedy for it. And if it's not true, then fine.
Well, the other thing is that I'm very concerned about is that if any person or any group represents the school or any corporation, then they have a certain fiduciary responsibility for that corporation to make sure that their representation, whatever they represent to the public, is true and accurate. Otherwise, it creates a liability, and we as board members are pretty much the ones that bear the burden of making sure that this school is not misrepresented, that no statements or no dangerous or harmful things are put out in the public that would impact the school. That's our responsibility.
Again, these are all things that I would feel more comfortable discussing in the executive session.
With the different.
Okay. I just want it on the record that there's a reason why we need to definitely deal with this, and that as board members we have a responsibility to the school, and if we allow things to continue, then there may be some liability that would happen. There may be some things that we would be responsible for.
I fully agree with you. I don't want to open anybody up to liability. That's not my intent, and that's certainly not any of our intent, I would think. But two, going forward, when I see this in writing, this to me is it's a volley back. Like you're.
Well, I think
somebody threw the ball over the net to us, and now we're volleying it back, and it's going to go back and forth and back and forth. It's got to end somewhere.
Yeah, I think
and
the direction would be for
either we're at fault or they're at fault, or we're both at fault, or we'll both sit down and figure something out. But how long has this been going on now?
Yeah, and what are we at fault for?
Wow, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. So, Tony, if you could look into that, I think that would.
And we look into the
Mr.
Chairman.
And we'll discuss that in the next.
Mrs. Chairman,
Agenda.
Madam Chairwoman, please. I'd be happy to add to the discussion.
We said at the beginning of the session that the public would be allowed to discuss the points on the agenda as soon as we finish conducting our business.
Okay.
Okay, so any motions for that or anything?
Well, I think just to direct that you would go ahead and look into the executive session to discuss that.
Well, I mean, it's pretty easy. We're going to just call it executive session.
We just want to call in executive session and that is it. And I don't know if we can do it today. Today we have to set the time and call the attorney to make sure that it's convenient for them. That will be the best thing to do, the sooner the better. And I will just post the days and the hours of when the people is available to see when is more convenient for everyone. Possible.
Well, may I ask a question of our attorney now?
Yes.
Sir, do we need to discuss anything with you on the lawsuit? Would it be, is there anything that,
As of now, I've been retained for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to defend the lawsuit that Mr. Hernandez filed in connection with public records. So
Correct.
at this point in time, it's beyond what I've been retained, and I really can't comment on it unless I learn more about it
Got it.
and speak further.
understood, thanks.
Well, the one thing I would say is that we need to definitely check, and I would check with CSO too, to make sure that we're aware of the procedures and that we can, accurately follow those procedures so that we don't have another issue that comes before us.
So I
I think we're pretty aware of it. We should
So you
make
will
sure.
be checking with them to the procedural, and I will be checking in the availability, and you will be checking on the jury. Is that okay?
Sure.
Anything else today?
Any other business? I just comment.
I know that we had on the last agenda, we had the employee manual. Are we going to do that the next time?
Next week.
The next week, that week, so you will go to the next week. On the new business? You're good on the new business, everybody's good on the new business? Oh, just one question, there was something on the some records of some employees not being clear, is that clear now?
We are there was two issues. One had to do with teachers, and another one had to do with substitute. The teachers, pretty much those are clear. The substitute, there was a misunderstanding when Mr. Sawyer got clearance from for the substitute. They're clear for the district, but unfortunately they have to go first to CSO, and CSO has to clear the substitutes. So those substitutes have been asked to not come to the school until CSO clears.
So that's been taken care of?
Yes.
And are we okay with substitute teachers?
Well, the ones that we're using now are clear.
Clear.
The ones that are on the list are the ones that were clear with Dade County Public School. They were fingerprinted, the drug tests, and so on. And unfortunately, there's a procedure that needs to go with CSO. And CSO has to give you the final clearance that says, okay, these are your substitutes that you can use at the charter. And that's where I guess, again, I wasn't here with Mr. Sawyer, which is the director, is the one who did this, but again, that's where my investigation is, what I called, that's what they told me. We were calling fingerprinting, and we also called CSO, and that's really what it all came down. They were clear, but they were fingerprinting, but unfortunately, through CSO, you gotta get them cleared by them.
And that's whenever we bring on a substitute, then we have to send it back
So
down
you
here.
have to
They get cleared by the district, and then CSO has to give you, it's like the teachers, same thing. And you go, they do the fingerprinting, they do the drug test, and then CSO clears them and puts them on your school list. It says, these are the personnel that are allowed in your school. So the issue is really the the substitutes. Because it was clear to the district, but not to CSO.
And another thing to the management, are we current with the reporting? Everything's current. Nothing in the new business?
Public comment.
I have a point of clarification on my previous with our attorney, and I'm sorry, what my question, I understand the scope of your representation. My question was on the current scope under the current lawsuit. Is there anything we need to discuss?
I will keep it.
Is there anything we need to discuss?
Not that I know of.
Okay, perfect.
Now it's open to the public comments. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Sherry Myers, and I am a parent here. This is my 3rd year here. My son is a senior. I'm also president of the PTSA. I've been on the board of PTSA since it was founded or started here 3 years ago. I'm not sure exactly, I guess I first want to comment on what I heard when I walked in. I'm not really sure what you're looking at when you're speaking of the language that you did, because we have taken great pains to operate very professionally and to not make accusations, but to advocate for change when it comes to following the law. And we don't make those requests lightly. We back them up with evidence, and we have put that in writing to you. I don't have dates and the actual letters in front of me today, but I'm sure you remember the very first letter that we put together for you that Carlos Dupe read in a meeting in, what was it, March or April? I don't remember exactly, but it had specific requests. So when you say you're not sure what our beef is or our complaints are, I'm not sure, you know, we put them in writing, so you should be well aware of what we're talking about. We want the board to fully comply with the laws that they are supposed to be following. And we have evidence that that has not occurred. And we expect, you know, for that to change. And what some of this has resulted in, there are also, you know, what we believe are conflicts of interest. And what this has resulted in is the school today is not in the condition that it was a year ago or a year and a half ago. You know, up until this spring, we had a very successful school, had an A rating on the FCATs, great staff of teachers, good administration. We were happy. We were raising money. We have done fundraising, Ms. Holloman. We purchased, spent $15,000, how much exactly? On laptops that were purchased for a mobile laptop cart for last year, and we would like to continue those efforts, but it is very difficult under the current strain and tensions that we have here. Our interests are the students and the teachers and the administration, the education of our kids, no doubt about it, and that's how we are proceeding. We have asked for parent representation on the board to be elected by the parents. We have asked for, again, as I said, that laws be followed. You can look at the complaint that was filed with the Charter School Operations Office back in May. You've all seen that and read that, I'm sure. So I'm confused by your comments that you don't understand what we're about. It's very confusing. And as far as derogatory information and derogatory, unfounded, and some of the words that you used are descriptive. I don't know where that came from.
Well, I don't either.
But I don't think it came